Five, four. What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are having a terrific week. Mike Medina, Jim Berringer, back at it again. Jim, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. How you been? It's been a while since we've done this together. Good to be back. Some hockey off-season edition.
Oh man, it's been a terrific off season in hockey. I've been listening to the podcast. I listened to it yesterday. Great job. But man, first things first, Seattle Kraken extend head coach Dave Hakstol through 2025, 26 season. I mean, in his second season, he was finalist for the Jack Adams Award. So, and Seattle had made a 40-point improvement in the standings in their second season. So, what do you make of this signing?
It's a solid signing for him. Good for him too. I mean, his time in Philadelphia wasn't the greatest. He's more of he was coming out of North Dakota area, coming out of college hockey. I don't know if he was the right fit in Philly. He did things right, but also now with Seattle, they get the right group of players in there and they believe, right? There was a belief in the room. They were buying into the system. Ron Francis, the general manager, puts together a nice group of players. Don't forget, they had a lot of guys injured last year. Jaden Schwartz was one of them. They bring in Borkowski. They get the goaltending they finally needed. And the players are buying into the system. They're rolling forward lines. That's what we talked about in the playoffs, right? With Seattle. When they played Dallas, when they were playing Colorado, they were rolling forward lines. Their D was playing well. Adam Larson looks like a stud again, and now you have Grubauer still there. Let's see what their other goalies can do. Decor. Remember, Joey Decor is coming up from Chicala Valley, and he was great for them in the AHL Calder Cup playoffs. So, look, Seattle's not going away. Good for Dave Hakstol because there's been a lot of critics of him, and he was a finalist this year, and finally things are paying off, and the system is working in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, and one of the biggest improvements Seattle made was their penalty kill. So, and that's something that you saw, especially in that series against Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they get the right players involved, and they're putting the right people out, the right personnel. Sometimes it takes time. Doesn't take. Sometimes people expect the system to work out real well. We see it with the Boer in the first year with Montgomery. It doesn't take. Sometimes it takes a year. And don't forget that Seattle team was a little bit flawed in their first year. The way they picked players, they were again in it for the long haul. It wasn't like Vegas where they went out and tried to win right away. Seattle took a different approach, tried to build through the draft, and everything now was paying off for them.
And speaking of the world champs, Seattle will be facing Vegas on October 10th. So that's a matchup that I'll be having marked on my calendar.
Hey, don't forget the Stanley Cup champs play Seattle in the opening game, but those two teams play outdoors. The expansion era, the two last expansion teams will play in the 2024 Winter Classic in Seattle.
Oof, I can't wait for that one.
That's going to be good.
Yes, next up, your hometown team, New Jersey Devils. They acquired 31-year-old Tyler Toffoli. He set career highs in goals, assists, and points in 82 games last season with the Calgary Flames. I feel that, he has won the Stanley Cup with the Kings in 2014. So I feel this adds more firepower to the Devils because you have a player that will bring a championship pedigree to the roster.
Yeah, the Devils continue to do good work. The summer of Fitzgerald, I like to call it right now. I don't think he's done. But you add a guy like Tyler Toffoli, like you said, he brings these scoring. They add to their top 9, top 6, really. And now you can have different combinations. Is he going to play with Jack Hughes? Is he going to play with Nico Hischier? You re-sign Timo Meier. They've re-signed Jesper Bratt. They want to have a great top 9 like we saw in Vegas, right? You have a good top 9, top 12. You're going to be a good team. Don't forget they just added Thomas Nosek. They signed Chris Tierney, depth players as well. So look, Fitzgerald's doing the right, and they add another scorer, and he's going to treat Toffoli like he's an RFA. Yes, he's a UFA at the end of the year, so he can go wherever he wants. But give him a year, see what New Jersey's all about. If he likes it, he likes the fit. They try to re-sign him, couple-year deal at a reasonable salary. Great. If he doesn't, okay, so what? You tried for a year because you're going for it.
Oof, Devils are looking super tough.
Imagine if they get a goalie. Imagine if they get a goaltender.
Yep, and that's one thing that I retweeted and wrote on Twitter. that, man, as a Rangers fan, I gotta say, the Devils are one goalie away from, you know, going to the promised land.
Absolutely. If they get a guy like Hellebuck or Gibson, somebody like that, again, it's tough because everything's cooled off right now. We're not sure. To me, I think Hellebuck probably starts the year in Winnipeg, but maybe by the deadline they trade him. Could they get a guy like Gibson, or are they going to start with Schmid and Vanacek? I think they definitely want more depth, but you never know what happens. It's again the return. What are you expected to give up? Because if the Devils do trade for a guy like Hellebuck, can they get the contract extension in? What's the contract extension look like, and who's going the other way? Most likely it would be Vitek Vanacek, but again, I'm not in the room with Fitzgerald, so who knows who they would send out.
Yes, this is far, far from over, so we'll keep on the lookout for that. Last but not least, the Calgary Flames will retire former goaltender Miikka Kiprusoff's number 34 number on March 2nd, and this will be before they face off the Pittsburgh Penguins. What an outstanding career. He will forever be linked to the Calgary Flames. Yes, he played with San Jose and other teams, but Calgary Flames is the team that he will forever be remembered for. He helped the Flames reach the 2004 Stanley Cup Finals, but they lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning. He won the Vezina Trophy Award in 2006. So what do you make of his legacy and this upcoming jersey retirement for him?
Yeah, good for Miikka. I mean, him and Jerome McGinley are linked together forever as part of those 2000 Flames teams, the team that lost to Tampa Bay. Depends on who you talk to in Calgary. Everybody in Calgary thinks the Flames won the Stanley Cup that year. I kind of tend to agree with them on that. But look, Kipper had a great, he's going to be forever a Calgary Flame, and good for them retiring his number. McGinley's up there as well. Those two guys just epitomize what it is to be a Calgary Flame. Speaking with Jamie McLennan, he played with Kipper there, and Kiprusoff's a quiet guy, right? He's not one of those guys that's always going to be out in public. He's more of a quiet type guy. So this honor for him, he's going to do some public speaking for the first time. He really wasn't too much out in Calgary from people I talked to. You would run into other guys, but Kipper was more the quiet type. He just wanted to be focused on his game, and good for him. And now he's going to be the ultimate honor for any player besides going to the Hockey Hall of Fame, winning a Stanley Cup, is to get your number retired.
Yes, for sure. And I'm always gravitated to athletes who are quiet, who are not flamboyant, I should say, uncontroversial, but they're cold-blooded on the ice. They're cold-blooded in their game. I like those athletes. I'm always gravitated towards them, that they're just quiet all to themselves. But once, the light is on, you don't underestimate them.
No, Kiprusoff was one of the best goalie tenders during that time. You think about it, Brodeur was still around, but it was the end of Patrick Waugh. Dominik Hasek was coming to an end. Roberto Luongo was starting to go. So there were a lot of good goaltenders then as well. Ryan Miller was coming up as well. So, Kiprusoff was ahead of his time, what he did with Calgary. Yes, he was drafted by San Jose. Yes. But again, the Flames, that's where he made his name, right? That Flames team. And they were really good. And it's a shame that they didn't win a Stanley Cup, because they put together a really, really good roster. Craig Conroy, part of that team as well, who is now the general manager of that team. So if you think about Flames teams of those times, you think about three players, Iginla, Kiprusoff, and Conroy. So good for Kipper. Always liked him. Great goaltender. And you know what? Just another notch in his hat. And he said that he's very excited for the opportunity.